Okay, so story time. Hello, people. Believe it or not, I'm relatively sober. I'm puffing on this thing a little bit, but I always do that. I'm just being weird tonight. So, doing cocaine at the Mayo Hotel. Story time. More accurately, I was like a piece of furniture for a man to do cocaine off of. Yes, you heard that correctly. A man paid a lot of money to use me as a piece of furniture to do coke off of. And call me a fucking Ferengi if you want, but like, I smell opportunity and I went for it. And I have a very nice red outfit and a fucking nice leather jacket. And I got a whole bunch of weed out of that and a bunch of cash. And all I had to do was be hot and have cocaine on my tits. And other stuff, but it was a fun weekend. Like, I always think of the fucking song Honky Tonka when I think of that guy. So, he was a businessman up from Dallas whose wife was being a bitch, and he decided to come to Tulsa and just find some fucking trans girl to fuck, I guess. And he had the biggest fucking like softball of real Colombian like fish scale coke I've ever fucking seen. When the shit comes from Colombia, it's wrapped in some sort of a fucking like fish thing or something, and it puts a fucking impression of a fish scale into the shit or something. Fish scale coke, for those not in the know. That's how you know you got the pure Colombian Bam Bam and not some fucking cut shit. This is the shit that you'll learn as an undercover narcotics officer and or a transgender hooker and or whatever else you would want to be that this knowledge might come in handy with. That's up to you. All I do is offer knowledge. Knowledge is power. And it's one of those things like when you taste a white powder to see what it is, what they're doing is, if it makes your tongue numb, it's cocaine. I don't know what heroin would taste like, to be honest. But I don't think it would taste anything like cocaine does. So, that actually probably is a legit way to tell the difference there. My guess is that you probably wouldn't want to just put random white powders into your mouth, though, as a policeman. I think it's funny that they do that in fucking movies. Like, what is that? Wipes their tongue. Oh, yeah, that's pure Colombian Bam Bam. It's a good thing it wasn't rat poison. Officer fucking McDuff or whatever the fuck your name is. Bunch of fucking idiots. Anyway. So I was at the Mayo for like 2 days. And like we went out to breakfast a couple of times, out to dinner once, and like we went to a fucking show, and I was a fucking slut. We showered together a lot. Like it was a fucking kinky ass fucking weekend. And like, to get all that and then get a bunch of gifts and money and shit on top of that, like, fuck yeah. Like, I wish every man hated his fucking wife that much. No. For the record, I don't recommend doing drugs. And even cocaine, this is a cheap thrill. Like, don't do drugs, kids. However, if it looks like the world's ending and some nice man offers you a whole lot of money just to do cocaine off your titties, Why not? You know, that's the kind of girl I am. Like, trying to think other parts of this story. Oh, we ordered in a bunch of food from a place called the Tavern. It's a good restaurant in downtown Tulsa, and they had this fucking like soup there that was really good. That was like a tomato bisque. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. The dude had kind of a tiny cock. It was a little sad. Like, this is the thing you'll find with, like, men that, like, pay you an exorbitant amount of money. It's that they fucking probably have some sort of, like, tiny limp dick. It's sad, but true. Occasionally, you'll find someone who is, like, gorgeous, hung, and just sexually perverted and weird. And those guys can party. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, phone number. It's interesting to me that someone would spend all of that money for that. But, like, honestly, how else are you going to get that? Like, I don't even know. Like, there was shit going on that you don't see outside a Motley Crue video or some shit. You know, your Aunt Ray Ray is kind of a carefree lady. At least when it comes to that. There's a really nice hotel room, too. The Mayo Hotel is beautiful. And, like, I went coming in the lobby of that place, like, valet parked my fucking FJ, and came in, I forget how I was dressed. I think I had on, like, some blue PJ pants and, like, a top with, like, a bra and some shit that, like, and I had a kind of overnight bag and a purse. Doesn't attract too much attention. Like, there's like some Pretty Woman vibes or some shit in some of this, because like that was one of the nicest hotels I've ever been in, and like, I don't know, not that I live in a dump or that I have ever lived in a dump. I've actually lived in some really nice houses, but like, I'm not exactly killing it right now money wise. But you know, this is kind of like why you do things the way you do, right? Like, you buy good shit when you have money so that you need less shit later, so that you don't have to spend as much money when you don't have money. It's just free life advice. That's why, you know, you get a really nice hot red schoolgirl outfit and like a nice leather jacket with the money, because like that outfit will get you some fucking more clothes. It's sad but true. It hasn't never gotten me more clothes, really, but it's gotten me dick. It's gotten me a ridiculous amount of dick. We've been going through such a broke dick fucking period lately that basically I'm just a slut. I don't know. I could probably go make some money that way if I wanted to, but I don't feel like it. I kind of got bummed out about that shit when I fell in love with Dakota, and stopped when I was seeing her. And I don't know. As the world continues to descend into anarchy, I may get all gussied up and see if we can make some money. To be honest, I think it ought to be fucking legal to do this shit. And, like, I think this is one of the whole things that, like, doesn't make any sense to me at all. Is like, you're having problems with illegal underage prostitution. Do you know what would fix that? Having legal and licensed shit going on. It would kill their fucking market. And I think that's, in a nutshell, bingo right there. Because, like, all of the fucking child prostitution things are, like, run by that Jeffrey Epstein bullshit. Or someone just like it, where it's like they're recording videos of everyone that does that and then using that against them in some sort of, like, thing where they put them in a position of power and use them as a puppet. Like, I swear to God, that's why prostitution is illegal. It's bad for business. It's bad for business, but, you know, fucking little kids on camera, that's good for business, apparently. Fuckers. It is one of my favorite memories, though. Doing coke at the Mayo Hotel will go down as one of my all-time favorite things that I've ever fucking done. And, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Dakota heard about all of this and got to taste test and just, like, thought that the whole thing was awesome, basically. She wasn't there, sadly. She missed out because she was doing fucking acid with her bestie, who was a cis woman, vagina girl, woman with a vagina. And, like, it was honestly one of those things where, like, I think Dakota was in love with her bestie. I think she met me, and I really liked her, and I really liked having sex with her, and hanging out and talking to her, and that kind of combination of shit she'd never really had before, and I don't know, it fucking made me fall for her, so, like, I'm sure it was, I know it was mutual. Like, I think she still loves me on some level, but, like, our crazies got in the way of each other, and, like, I if I could convince her to fucking live in the woods, or she could convince me to, like, eat bugs and live as a Democrat, like, yeah, this is basically the thing that broke us up. It's like, we were having an argument towards the end, basically, about which way we should go with life. And I think now she would probably agree with me. She didn't, you know, a year and a half ago. The world was different, though. Like, I think I wish that bitch would talk to me. Someday she might. Sad part is, by the time she fucking wants to talk to me, I'll probably have moved on and found somebody else, because that's the way of the world. I watched a bunch of Sex in the City on her fucking HBO Max after we broke up. I love that show. I love Miranda, and I love Samantha. I'm a Samantha girl, in case you couldn't fucking tell. Like, I like sex. I really like sex. And, like, one of the things that, like, the transition thing has done is, like, sex has become weirder in some ways. Weirder but better. And, like, I'm not as spontaneously horny as I once was. But I consider that to be kind of a blessing, to be honest. Like, I used to basically be a nymphomaniac. Flat out. Couldn't stop. So, like, you'll pay me to have sex with me? Fuck yeah. Why not? And now it's more like, I just choose to be horny whenever I want to be, pretty much. And, like, if there's a dude around, he can do things that will initiate things that he can't finish or whatever, you know? Like, that's half of the thing that I like, is the stuff that turns me on is all, like, physical contact and shit like that, and, like, the hormones have just made that better. I say hormones, I'm just on blockers, which I think is weird. I don't know. But other than that, you know, Coda and I were great. Like, this is one of those, like, at a certain point, everyone is going to agree with me. It is just at what point that is, you know? Everyone keeps, you know, saying, oh, you know, world isn't ending, the world isn't ending. Kind of seems like it is. This is kind of why, like, I wanted to fucking be a slut and hooker and fucking do coke at the Mayo Hotel and all this shit. Like, I saw my opportunity to do it and I did it. No regrets. There's a lot of other shit like that. Like, I have literally done several things that, like, the number of people on fucking, you know, any of the things that you watch on YouTube or whatever that have done them, like, handful maybe. Like the coke at the Mayo Hotel thing. Again, like, Motley Crue's done that shit. We looked like fucking Scarface. It's one of those, like, you know, had the world not been ending, I might not have said yes to that. It was dope, though. Like, couldn't believe I got a fucking doggy bag for Dakota. She got like 2 bumps of the good shit, and she was like, "Wow, I should have said yes to going to that." I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, I should probably not tell drug stories on the internet, but nah, I don't really care. It's kind of like half of it is like, you know, for all you know, I'm just telling stories. Who knows how much of these are real or fake? And, like, you know, I don't know. It seems like there's all sorts of people doing all sorts of shit everywhere now. Oh, I'm gonna tell more. Like, why the fuck not? Especially, like, I'm sober-ish now. I say sober, I mean, like, this is the hardest thing I will do. You know, maybe smoke a real joint. I would like to do some mushrooms, too. Don't do powdery drugs, kids. They're bad for you, okay? That's just like some sound life advice. And definitely never do meth. That shit is the worst shit anyone can do. It's one of those, like, the only reason people do meth is because they're too broke to buy coke. And, man, that is a dangerous fucking thing. It's ruined so many lives. It continues to ruin lives now. And, like, this is like the unseen cost of our war on drugs and our whole society being wired still like it's the fucking 1950s. I feel like we are, like, repeating the pattern that is the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s. Like, we're somewhere in that cycle. I'm not really sure where we are in the cycle, and it depends on what happens next. Like, all through that period, we were going recession, depression, boom, recession, depression, boom, whatever, and, like, there'd be wars, and, you know, stock market go up and down. It's just like in the fucking Bush era during our imperial stage, where it just went to the moon. And that was partially in a reaction to 9/11 because, like, the stock market was so fucked up, right? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I just like the fact that on my list of shit I've done, I can add legitimately being a hooker for a night with cocaine and the whole deal like it was the 1980s. It's like, you know, considering all the other shit we talk about here, I think it's funny that all of this is coming to you from a hooker. And, like, this is kind of half of the reason I never talked about this shit on fucking the other chats at all, is, like, I really didn't want to hear from other people about what I did. Because they 100% would have given me shit about that. And it's one of those, like, that's half the reason I ever gave them shit about their thing. If I'm not even gonna say what I do, because, like, I'll get shit for it, like, fuck you. That's how I felt anyway. That's how I still feel. I'm a hooker with a heart of gold. See you guys later.